Alright, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. Today we are going to harvest our garlic. Now, how do you know when your garlic is ready to harvest? Let me kind of give you a good picture here. Pull some weeds back, which I've just let everything kind of grow up in here as it will. Alright, so when you see your garlic, you look down here and you see that at least 1/3 of the leaves have started to turn brown. I've also seen somewhere where once the scapes start coming out, that may also be a good indication that it's about time to harvest. But you can see most of my crop has started to turn brown, where at least 1/3 of all of the different leaves have started to brown up. So I believe that it is a good time to start harvesting garlic. So how do you go about doing it? Well, there's a couple things that you need to know. One, let me get up here. If you're not careful, what will happen when you go to pull them up is you can break it. Now, that's not really a huge problem, but what it does do is it makes it a little more difficult to cure the garlic, because we're going to want to cure this for storage as we go on. So let me go ahead and show you how I go about it. So I started out just pulling and almost broke a couple of stalks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my garden fork to loosen the dirt and then pull them up like that. All right. And then I've got some of the plants like this dill I'm going to try and save in here, so I got to be a little bit careful. And then I've got back here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I got some amaranths growing back here, which is a great summer green, so I'm going to try and save those as well. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fork and put it under the garlic. Now you kind of got to have an idea of about how deep it goes. All right, like you can move the dirt back and you can feel where the bulb starts, and it's about, about that deep. All right, so you want to go under that. You don't want to score up your garlic as you're digging it up. All right, so you just basically loosen the dirt, pull it out, shake off the dirt, and put it in the pile. Simple as that. All right. You can see some of these are decent size, and some of them are whoppers. Here's one I pulled earlier. You can see, just to kind of give you a scale, there's my hand. Versus that one. That is a big garlic. That's a monster. Much bigger than the ones you get in the store. Holy cow, look at that. Look at that bad boy. Once again, look at the scale. Holy cow. Man, it smells like garlic in here too. Some of them are a little smaller, and that's okay. Another big one. Holy cow, man, these things are monsters. Now, I planted this garlic in, I want to say it was December. I'll have to look at the video, but it was in the winter when I planted them here, which is a good time here in Jacksonville. You want to plant them in the winter time. It grows better when the soil is apparently between 40 and 50 degrees. So wintertime's good. Now that's not to say you can't grow it during the summer rather. I have done it, and I have gotten some garlic, but it doesn't grow nearly as well as it does in the if you plant it in the fall. I've been very impressed so far with this year's crop. Now, if you got really loose dirt, you may be able to just pull these up. But like I said, I tried and snapped the top off of that one. And I'm going to use the tops to hang them up with. So I want to kind of keep them tops intact. Now you notice we're not washing these. We're just shaking the dirt off. Washing the garlic was a mistake I made the first year. I think it was last year when I grew garlic. And it basically can cause it not to cure properly. So you just want to let it dry, shake off the big chunks of dirt, and then we're going to let the rest dry out and brush it off once it's dry. Oh, that one broke off. Another one. Oh, that's a tiny one. Well, that'll be one of the first ones we use then. And what I'll try and do this year is I'm going to save some of the bigger ones for seed. Hopefully we can make them last that long. Alright, there you go. There's part of my harvest. Let's take this inside and we'll look at it there. Alrighty then. So this is the garlic harvest. As you can see, well, I've got it laid out on a tray right now, which is a perfectly fine way of drying it, by the way. You can do this. You can just lay it out someplace where it doesn't get a lot of sun, where it gets some air circulation, air moving around, and you can lay it on a tray and let it dry that way. I think that the only problem with that is it's probably not going to dry evenly. The bottom side isn't going to get as dry as the top. So my total harvest so far this year, I've got 20 bulbs here. We've used one, got half of another, and then I gave 2 to my kids so far. So I'm trying to grow enough garlic to supply the whole family, but I don't think I put enough in the ground. But we may be able to remedy that. All right, so let's talk about a couple different things. One, let's talk about garlic scapes. If you're waiting for your garlic to dry, what you can do is harvest the scapes. Now, essentially, let me see if I can get a better example. So the scape is a small piece that grows up through the middle of the garlic, and it's typically curved. It tends to bend over and have a little bulb at the end, something like this. Okay? That's a garlic scape. Now you can use the garlic scape just like you use regular garlic in any of your recipes. It is a milder, less potent form of garlic. You can also, and we have done this before, you can also take the leaves when they're still moist and clip the leaves and use those as a garlic substitute until you get enough garlic growing. The scapes get pretty good size. As you can see, this one is pretty long. So that's a perfectly good alternative. Here's another one here. It's just starting to form the bulb at the end. All right, so that's one way you can use your garlic before it gets big enough to harvest. You can also pull it out before it's ready, but I would wait at least until it bulbs out and gets to be a regular bulb. Like these, I pulled this one out just to see how it was looking, and man, I was very, very happy with that result. So you want to take your garlic to cure it. You want to take it and hang it up someplace out of the sun, but with some air circulation, like under a porch, in a shed with a door open, in a garage, someplace out of the sun. Now last year I did this, year before last, when I actually grew a bunch, I did this and I hung them up inside my garage, but it got really hot in my garage. And I think that the heat overcooked it, so to speak, but it dried out to the point where I didn't get hardly any garlic out of my garlic once they had dried out. Hoping that won't be the case this year, but it doesn't appear to be, as this one here is nice and hard and still good. Now it's only been about a week since I pulled this one out. Actually, not even a week, a couple days. All right, so for curing them, you want to hang them up someplace, like I said, and I'm going to do it out here. It does get hot in the daytime, but not nuclear hot, not like it does in the garage. So I'm going to find a spot to hang them up, and let them dry out here, get plenty of air circulation, and not a lot of sun because I do have the overhang. As far as what you want to do, you do not want to wash these. I think that was the big mistake I made when I did get a big harvest, is I actually washed these to get the dirt off. You don't want to do that. Let the dirt dry and rub it off, and then what you can do is, if it really bothers you having the dirt on it, is you can take and peel back these layers of paper, and to a certain extent take just one layer of paper and pull it back that way, and that will help clean up your garlic. Now this one here hasn't cured properly because, like I said, I just pulled it out, but you can see if you pull it back, it reveals another cleaner layer up underneath. Alright, so you can do that, and that should hopefully take care of it. This one, sorry about the airplanes. This one, as you can see, is still a little bit moist in the middle because it wasn't cured completely before we started using it, but we really wanted some garlic. So we'll be using that up here shortly. From everything I've read and seen online, apparently 2 weeks is a good time frame to let them hang out and dry before you cut the necks off. When you cut the necks off, you want to cut them off about an inch above the actual bulb, and then the roots you cut them off to about 1/4 inch or so. Leave some of the roots there, but cut them off to 1/4 inch or less, or slightly more. For storage. Now when you do store them, you want to store them someplace where there is some air circulation. Like, don't put them in the fridge. If you put them in the fridge, they'll start to grow. But you can put them like in a basket, a wicker basket, something like this. Like this basket here, so that they have, some air circulation through it. Or you can, we actually bought a pretty cool little pot. It's for storing garlic, and it actually has holes. It's a ceramic pot that has holes in it for the air to circulate. We're going to try that out because it's really neat looking. But that's my garlic harvest for this year, and that's what we're going to do this year, and hopefully get better results. Also, another thing too is your seed is the garlic cloves themselves. All right, so I'm going to take the bigger, fatter ones, and I'm going to save some of those for seed. That's going to be what I plant come this fall, if we don't eat it all, hopefully. Where I got the seed this year, I actually just bought bulbs of garlic at the store. I bought a little package of, I think it was like 5 bulbs. I don't even remember what they cost. And I just took them apart, and I planted 24 garlic plants. Every one of them grew. Every one of them came out nice. There's a couple of them that are a little smaller. Like this one here, a little smaller than the rest. Some of these are small, but yet most of them came out very nice, very large, and I probably got, well, this is kind of unfair. All right, that's at least 5 to 10 pounds of garlic. So I am very pleased with my harvest so far this year. Once I get some of these dried out, I am going to try and plant a few of them. Don't store your garlic in the fridge, because what happens if it goes down below 40 degrees, it'll actually start to sprout out and grow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fool it, and I'm going to plant some in the fridge. I'm going to put some in the fridge until it starts to sprout out, and then we're going to see if I can get some to grow in the summertime in a shady spot someplace. All right, but once again, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like my garlic harvest. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think, and show me your harvest.